House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is directing a House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. McCarthy says an investigation found a culture of corruption in the Biden family and their finances.
Now, just to be clear, this does not mean the president will be impeached. It is just the first step of the process. Joining us now to talk more about it is Professor Stephen Caliendo from North Central College. Always a pleasure to see you, sir. I want to jump right into this. It took 15 ballots for McCarthy to become the speaker. Wasn't this always a foregone conclusion?
You got it, Scott. I typically don't make predictions because I know what kind of danger that can get into. But as soon as the results of the election in 2022 were made known, I said publicly in a couple of places that I expected impeachment of Joe Biden. So it wasn't about it was about when, not if. And you put your finger exactly on it. The speaker's weak position with such a slim majority and the fact that he had to agree to so many terms to become speaker is why we're in this position right now.
So walk us through what's happening. You said this has to do with the business dealings of his son, Hunter Biden. What are Republicans hoping to prove in regards to the president?
Well, from their perspective, Don, they're hoping to prove that there was a malfeasance. Maybe when President Biden was Vice President Biden, their argument is that he may have benefited or helped his son to benefit, and then he may have personally benefited from some of the business dealings, and that he might have leveraged his office and his position to help that happen. So that's what they're hoping. And I would say from a political perspective, all that has to happen is they continue to muddy the water between one of what are going to be the top two candidates for president of the United States next November. And so we know that former President Trump has a lot of legal troubles of his own. This is a way for the Republicans to say, look, Joe Biden's not squeaky clean either.
There's also the issue, Professor, of a lack of a smoking gun. And this weighs heavily on Republicans, given the fact that Republicans in districts where Biden won know that they got to walk a very thin line here, do they not?
They absolutely do. And, this is a real departure from just what the speaker said publicly about a week ago, where he said, if we're going to have these investigations, we want a House vote because that will lend legitimacy to the process. I think he learned between then and now, or then and this morning, that there are many Republicans in the House who did not want to have to vote. They didn't want to go on record, and they may not. And if they did, they weren't going to necessarily be supportive. And that would have been a tremendous embarrassment if they couldn't get the vote. So instead, he took another path and ordered 3 committees to start the investigations, even without a House vote. And so there's a lot of political implications here for Republicans in moderate districts and moderate Republicans generally, because no smoking gun, there isn't any evidence that we've seen. We've certainly heard allegations, but we haven't seen evidence yet.
Wow. All right, Professor Caliendo, thank you for telling us more about it.
It's great to see you both. Have a good night.
You too.